Hey, what's up, guys and gals? Hopefully this is much better. I think the sound wasn't working, but hopefully it's working. Look at this. Got my Lucy shirt. There we go. So yeah, hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday. Guys and gals are having a great Sunday. I'm having a pretty good Sunday myself. And yeah, let's get talking some Lucy. Now, sadly, we are at the end of the I Love Lucy, Lucy-Desi comedy hour we've been going through it, and so we're basically done. We're at Lucy Meets the Moustache, which is a weird name for the episode. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me all right? And so yeah, it's one of those things where it's a sad ending. It's sad that it's done, but at the same time we're gonna start all over. So we're not gonna miss anything that's happening. Let me just start the episode here. Lucy Meets the Mustache. Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. Glad that you can hear me. Very good. Loud and clear. Over 10-4. All right. Even the first chapter of the episode, Lucy Meets the Mustache, starts out, Ricky's depressed. And yeah, so this is the one where they already knew this was the last episode. They already knew Lucy, at least Lucy knew, because she's the one who filed for divorce, that divorce was coming and that they weren't going to work together anymore. And so it is a reality. I know that's maybe not positive, but there are laughs in here. It's not my favorite short. It's not my favorite episode, but we'll definitely play it. We can talk about it. I can give you some facts about when it was and when it came out and so forth. But then we're going to start all over next time we appear and start with season 1. And we'll get right to it. We didn't do it last year like really in order as I would have wanted. So I think this way it'll be where we can cover it a little bit more directly. Okay, Lucy Meets the Mustache. That's a whoa. That is a April. I was like, what month is that? April 1st, 1960, which is pretty cool because we're April 8th. So it's around this time in the 1960 year. Episode 13, supporting cast, Little Ricky, of course, Ernie Kovacs, Edie Adams, Crandall was Paul Duboff. We have a chauffeur, hotel clerk, Louis Nicoletti, Desi's best friend, bellboy, Dick Coleman. We have no Bobby Jellison, and that's all. Kind of a sad music thing. Dick Coleman was a member of Lucille Ball's acting workshop on the RKO Desilu lot, and he played... Is he over here? I thought I just saw him. He later starred in the sitcom Hank. Interesting. Very, very nice. Lucy has definitely a different type of haircut. Bill Frawley looks a lot older as well. It's a fairly interesting episode to look at. Casey, is it hard for you to watch because you knew it was the last episode? Or is it the quality of the episode? Is it not funny enough for you? Tell me about that. Do you like the whole concept of her and the mustache and Ernie Kovacs? Did you like the guest stars? I did like, there's a part where Ernie Kovacs was trying to make like a magic. He does like a little magic, I don't want to say, yeah, like a little magic show, like 2-3 tricks. What I found that he was doing those tricks while he was doing that, I'll call to mind when we're doing it. Oh, look at Fred. What I call to mind is that he was almost like, when you go to a party and there's like something awkward happening, and then all of a sudden someone says, hey, I'm going to make some jokes to make it not awkward. So someone's trying to fix it. That's what it felt in the story. And so it was just a little strange. I'm glad you make the live chat, Domily. That's awesome. Hello, everyone. Yes, Adrian, you can find this video of this live stream after I post it. But you're here, so enjoy. Lisa, you find it kind of sad too? I'm on the fence. Like, I can appreciate it for what it is, but knowing everything that's happening in the background kind of, and to me, it wasn't like a chocolate episode. It wasn't like they went out with a bang. I felt like they just scrapped up a story together. I'm being critical of this, right? I'm being a realist. I don't want to, cookie cutter this and say it was, the end and the perfect story to end the series. It wasn't. That's my thoughts on it. So Hannah, you're asking what episode it is. Always down in the description. I have it listed because some people ask me, what's the episode? What's the episode? It's always down in the description. Just open up the description. Lucy Meets the Mustache. The last episode of I Love Lucy, the Lucy-Desi Comedy Hour. And now Crandall is coming in. Lucy later plays Crandall. She pretends to be a man. Little Richard Keith looks a lot older in this. Almost looks like his Opie years. Crandall is weird as a chauffeur. He has a lot on him. He has like these special gloves and like all of his skin's covered up. I think that was on purpose for what Lucy's character was. He almost looks like a soldier, like a fascist soldier. I'm a World War II guy, so I know these uniforms. It was just a weird look. I don't think chauffeurs usually look like that, but that's just me. Okay, so Casey says, it's hard for me to watch because you can see the tension. Yes, isn't that crazy? Like there were actors and stuff, but you can see, you can understand. Even when Desi is coming in kind of depressed, that's part of the story. What I find with Desi, he's a great actor, but you see a lot of his emotions really come through. Like in the beginning, you can see a lot of love come through. When he gets angry in a lot of the later episodes, you can see like his anger is just over the top. And yeah, he amplifies whatever he's feeling, if that makes sense. Although Bill Frawley in this, I think he was awesome because he was very disconnected from everything in the sense of, it wasn't an issue for him. Maybe it was the last episode, but there was no tension, I feel, on his part. He was just Bill Frawley and everything as usual. Vivian, I think she was a little bit more connected in terms of Lucy because they were good friends. And so I think Frawley was the odd one out. He was the one who was on point in this episode. So it's hard for you to watch because you can see the tension. You like to separate Lucy and Ricky from Lucy and Desi, but it's hard to do it with this episode. There's some funny moments. So I agree with you. It's hard to separate it. Let me see here. You've never seen the episode, Jabe, but you do know that at the end of the episode when they kissed, that was the last kiss they had. Yes. And it was the last time they were on screen together. It was the last episode. Like, it was the last of everything. It was the last time the four of them were on screen together. Ray Keek, how are you? You enjoying my channel? Well, thank you. You're a huge I Love Lucy fan and looking forward to my detailed videos. Have a wonderful week ahead. Well, thank you. Hopefully you've seen the others. I have over 150 I Love Lucy episodes, over 1,000 total. So go ahead and take a look. Hello, Arthur. How are you? Mike, I think the first time I see you on the chat. Nice to see you. You heard in the last episode, Lucy and Desi weren't speaking to each other. They weren't. It was awkward. See, the thing is, understand when there are issues, but it becomes awkward when you tell someone to speak on your behalf. So it was like Desi was like to someone in the cast, like Ethel or Vivian was like, Vivian, can you tell Miss Ball or can you tell Miss Arnaz that blah, 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 and I want to do this. And then Lucy would respond, well, can you tell Mr. Arnaz that, it's just awkward for everyone and they made it uncomfortable. I understand what was going on, but that was the reality of what was going on. And that's tough. It kind of shines through on camera. Whoa, Chad, thank you for your $14.99 donation. That is awesome. A great way to start out the stream. I do appreciate it. It is sad when something comes, Chad says, to an end. I agree. It's a lot of different emotions. All good things must end, though. I agree with that. Like, we hear it, but it is true. Like, nothing could go on forever. You can't just say that I Love Lucy would have gone on for 20 years because it wouldn't. Someone would have gone sick. Bill Frawley would have passed away, eventually, and so forth. So, yeah. Off of the wall question. What's your favorite MLB team and NFL team? Be hopeful. Keep posting. Well, thank you. I have to say I'm not a sports fan at all. Like, I don't watch sports. The only one I really watch is soccer, football, as they call it worldwide. And I do love a certain teams there. So if that's interesting to you, and I can tell you I would, but honestly, I don't know much about football. I used to play flag football as a kid. In Major League Baseball, I really don't watch. I'm sorry. So, I mean, I can name teams, but I can't really say I have a connection to any team. How about you? Tell me your favorite teams. I'm sure I'll recognize them. Lucy played guys, but Desi never did drag. Well, of course, Stars White. He was a Latino living in the 1950s. He was a macho guy. He owned the studio. He would never do that. And I'm serious by that. I'm very serious. Like, Milton Berle did, and other actors would. He was a comedian, but Desi had a seriousness to him, and like, he wouldn't stoop that low, if that makes sense, especially in that time. Like, you would have to understand the time he was living in. Yep. But Desi did let his whole band dress in drag. Well, I don't know if let or he made them. I don't know. And I don't want to insinuate either or, but what I mean by that is I don't know if it was in part of the contract. I don't know if he said he had to do it. I don't know if they volunteered and they were like, sure, I'll do this for laughs. It's great. You know, I don't know that part of the story. I would love to go into it and find out. Absolutely. All right, Lisa, thank you for joining and being here. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Have you ever seen The Lucy Show or Here's Lucy? Jabe asked. Yes, I have. The Lucy Show, I've seen quite a lot of episodes. And Here's Lucy, I have seen a few. Randy, the song that Edie Adams sings is very touching and poignant. Consider what was going on. Yeah, I think it makes the situation worse. It made it for everyone. It was like, oh no. Like, it just resonated with what was going on. Now, Ernie Kovacs, I think, was all right. But you know what I didn't like? His like attitude. He had like a grumpy attitude, his character. And that was just weird to me. Like, it just didn't resonate that much. I don't know if I wouldn't say his acting was exceptional. I don't want to say that because I don't think that's the impression that I got. But it almost seemed like the acting was, I don't know. Was he feeling the tension and those weird emotions were happening? You can notice here, now he's doing his little magic trick thing that's going on with a board and he's drawing and everything. You have Edie Adams on the couch. You have the whole cast. So Edie Adams, Lucy-Desi, Vivian, and Bill Frawley. And you have literally Desi on one side of the couch and Lucy on the other side of the couch. And Lucy's like, but that's what her character is trying to do. But it just seems like there's no rhythm and flow. There's no, it's almost like they had to write the story for what was going on. You know, it was just weird. The cool tricks that they had going on there, of course. Darren, excuse me, Denise. I can't read today. You've seen your video on Bill Frawley. Would have to be hard to be an actor when you're a loner. Maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. He enjoyed what he did from what I could see. He enjoyed acting. He enjoyed being in front of the camera. He would, I think he came out of a show when he was on camera. That's what I would say. That's my experience with it. So yes. Chad, so you like the Royals, the Packers. Soccer is Sporting Casey. Sporting Casey. What does that mean? See, I'm not. This is sad on my part. Have you seen The Honeymooners? Of course I have. Yes, I have seen a few episodes. And people are like, you should do like secrets and bloopers on that. They've told me that before. Arthur, did they know this was going to be the last episode, or was the network just sick of everything? No. On the contrary, Arthur, this is a great question. And for anyone watching, this is very important. They stopped I Love Lucy because of the divorce. That's a fact. They wanted to continue with more episodes. Even Desi wanted to continue. Like, they knew they were having problems. It was mostly Lucy that pulled the plug. She filed for divorce the next day, I think, after this aired or after this was filmed. And so it was very much, Desi was like, okay, we're upset, but like, he wanted to keep the show going. It was more her that she just shut everything down and everyone kind of reluctantly went with it. They even wanted to do a Mert spinoff. Bill Frawley was on board. He's like, I don't like Vivian, but it doesn't matter. And Vivian was like, absolutely, I will never work with this man again. Like, that was literally what happened. And so ratings wasn't really an issue. It was just what was going on behind the scenes. So great question. So they did know it was going to be the last episode for sure while they were doing it. Yep. It wasn't planned like in episode 1 of the Comedy Hour, but like in the last couple episodes, they knew it was coming to an end. Mike, Lucy bought Desi out for $3 million, took over Desilu, becoming the first female studio head, then sold Desilu to Gulf for $17 million. Yeah, so definitely Desi offered up his part and wanted to get out of it, and Lucy took over. Yep. Good afternoon, Mabel. It is afternoon for me as well. Hopefully for all of you, maybe evening for some of you. Ash, you like when she sings that? She's singing right now, actually. And it's a very slow pace. Interestingly enough, though, just to change pace here, Vivian Vance is on the piano, and she's playing accompanying Edie Adams. Edie Adams has a beautiful voice. I think she may still be alive, right? or she was alive up to a certain, like fairly recently, if she has passed away, because I'm not sure. But I can tell you that it is interesting because remember there was a debate whether Vivian could play or whether Ethel could play the piano or not. Well, funny thing is that she is playing here, and they had like some entertainment going on. You think Stars Wake, Ernie Kovacs was like that in real life? You mean grumpy or like or not? Oh, and then Fred's trying to sing and they keep shutting him out, which is kind of funny. Because they're all trying to kind of audition for Ernie Kovacs and what he's doing, but it's like they want Ricky to, because at the end of this episode, so we think that like Ricky made it and he was doing really well. At this episode, he's like a wash. He's like going down the drain. And we end the episode with him getting like a job in Ernie Kovacs' show, I believe. And that's it. And it's like his career was doing so well. Hollywood, he got this house. It was almost like he was going up, 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 and all of a sudden, boop, he had a slump at the end. It was weird. I don't know why story-wise they did that. I don't know why they didn't end on a high note, especially being the show that was all like lovey-dovey and comedic and stuff. Oh yeah, Ash, I'll give you my time mark. I'm on 1440, if that makes any sense. I usually tell you guys when I start, but if you come after, you know, it's hard to say. Yeah, 1450, somewhere in there. It gives you an idea. Little Ricky's playing drums now. Shot Sandwich, nice to see you on the stream. You support a lot of my videos. I appreciate that. Not only the Lucy videos, but the farming videos, as well as the Stooge videos, the flying video, like everything I do. I so much appreciate that. I watched an interview with Lucy Arnaz, and she said that in the statue episode of I Love Lucy, that she wasn't the girl standing next to us. You're right. I made a comment about that in the description. That was not Lucy Arnaz, Luckinville. Yep. I am Will Cynthia. Nice to see you. Oh, Casey is Kansas City. There we go. I should know that. Thank you very much. Being an LA guy, I don't. Although I was in Iowa at one point, right above Kansas City, Missouri. You're a Mets and a Giants, Knicks, and Rangers guy. Wow. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. A lot of teams. A lot of people are. See, I know sports are very important for a lot of people. And so I know teams, but I don't know like who's good. They've changed players all the time. So I'm like, I can't, honestly, I kind of can't keep up with it with all I'm doing. Like I can't keep up with the switches. I'm really into like Formula One. I wish I was more into Formula One, but then again, I can't keep up with who's changing on team and who's on Ferrari and Williams and all the different teams. But yeah, I'd love, like I try to keep up with Formula One, but I'm kind of behind. I'm in tune with what they're doing with the new regulations and so forth. Anyway, let's get back to this. Jabe, you heard that the Honeymooners episode Marty watches in Back to the Future. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right. No, that was accurate. See, Back to the Future is so well done, and I'm sure there are mistakes in it, like if you go into it and things that don't add up. But for the most part, it's fairly accurate, like to what it would be. Like they got the episodes right, they got most of the dates right. Like everything was pretty cool. Even some of the things they predicted kind of happened, which is pretty cool. Cynthia, you wanted to know if in the episode Come Home from Europe, if they used the real gooey cheese when they stuffed into the instruments. That's a good question. So when Lucy is eating along with Ethel, that's obviously real cheese. But in the instruments, it's hard to know if that was real cheese or not. I don't know if it was the same because you notice it kind of melted. Oh man, Desi's in like boxers. And but that's a good question, Cynthia. I don't want to answer because I don't want to give you the wrong answer, but it looked almost like a gooey cheese consistency. You know, like there is cheese like that that's very gooey. And so yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I would say that for my guess would be yes, that it was like a cheese type substance, but it was really small. Like some of the musicians took it out and you can see that it barely comes out. So it was like a little sliver. So they didn't use a lot of it. Oh, thank you, Brandis. Edie Adams passed away. Okay, because I saw an interview of her doing something. So it must have been like one of her last interviews, 05, something like that. Paul, this episode was the last appearance of Edie Adams and Ernie Kovacs together. Really? They didn't do anything after this? Domily, can you do a video on all the surviving cast members of I Love Lucy? I could, but here's the problem, Domily. There's really not anyone around except for the Mayer twins, the ones who played Little Ricky, Richard Keith, and that's it. Can you think of anyone else? Like, if we're talking about the cast itself, like I really don't keep up with like the Makeup Man, Max Factor's not around anymore. Like we can go with the list, right? And there's not many around. So those are the only ones I can think of. They would have to be the kids. Yeah, if you can think of anyone else, let me know. But it would be on just those individuals. But yeah, that might be interesting. Edie was 81 and passed away due to pneumonia and cancer. Oh yes, yeah, cancer takes away a lot of people, as well as Vivian Vance. That's how she passed away, and Desi as well. Hey Vince, nice to see you from Jamestown. Awesome, Lucy's hometown. Nice to see you here. Ash, how are you? Ooh, awesome. The National Comedy Center opens this summer in Jamestown. Awesome. I love Back to the Future too. It's my favorite trilogy, I would say. Ash, yeah, it could have been some type of slime. Yeah, they didn't want to ruin the instruments. They didn't want it to go like all the way in. So it was just like a little thing just on the tip of the instruments. It was kind of a blooper where some of them just pulled them out like that. Hello, Yolanda. Nice to see you. In the dinner scene, Ethel pours sugar into her hand and tastes it. And this one, I didn't notice that. I'll have to see. It's kind of a thing, you know, you want a little bit of sugar. I've done that. I do that with salt. I'm just like salt, and I'm like, it's not, I guess, tasting it. It's just like you want to eat some. Arthur, do you know Vivian Vance and Bill Frawley took sides in Lucy and Desi's divorce? Like Bill thought Desi was wrong. No, that's a good question. I can just tell you this. It's a good question. Vivian, let's just sympathize with Lucy. They were having divorces at the same time. I think Lucy had her divorce, and then Vivian had her short after with Philip Ober, somewhere in that. So they understood each other was going through several divorces, or going through the divorce process. Let's say Lucy was only divorced once, and Bill Frawley stayed friends with Desi afterwards. And he was a pallbearer for Bill Frawley's funeral, and he put a huge ad in the paper, you know, like an obituary. And so, call it what you want, call it sides or not. I don't know if we can even say that, but that's kind of the way the sides came up. All right, let's see. Barbara Eden again. Oh, that's right. Barbara Eden's still alive. That's true. She was a guest star. Yep. Not the official cast, but guest star. Yep. It's my favorite Hollywood episode. Ooh. I'm gonna have to say the one with John Wayne. I love that. And then California, Here We Come doesn't count as a Hollywood episode. So then it would have to be LA at Last. See, that's the thing. California, Here We Come is not technically, they're coming to Hollywood, but they're not in the Hollywood. So it would be very technical. But yes, so I love that John Wayne one. It's just hilarious to me. And then, of course, LA at Last is fantastic. Mabel, it would be so cool for those of us who have never been to California to plan a trip and hang out and have you show us all the Lucy museums and so forth. What do you think? That'd be cool. You know what I thought? Like a bus tour. Like I'd be like driving a bus, or we get a bus driver, and then he would or she would drive around, and then I'd be like, this is this and this, kind of like a tour guide by Ricknineg. I thought about that. Yes, Ash, you're correct. Most of them are gone. They're gone in the physical sense, but we have them here. I can see them right here, as well as you guys. Randy Tompkins, you wonder what happened to all the set furniture after the series ended, reused in other shows. Good question. I heard a lot of it was like gone. Remember, facades and movie backgrounds and TV show backgrounds are very temporary. And once a show is done, literally that same day, like minutes after the show ends, they start dismantling stuff. So a lot of this stuff is dismantled, giving away. To be honest, a lot of stuff is stolen, just taken. Like Gilligan's Island, they said that a lot of stuff was just gone. Sherwood Schwartz, the creator, says there was, if you're big on Gilligan's Island, you know, there's like a little car that Gilligan had and you would pedal. They said the car's gone. They never figured out where it was. And it's a big thing. Like they had 4 characters that could fit in it. There's some things, like I think Don Wells took like one of the coconut cups, and there are things here and there. But like on I Love Lucy, a lot of this stuff is gone. Some of them are in Jamestown, some of them were in Hollywood at Universal, some of them were in the Florida Universal, and so forth. But again, most of it I think is in Jamestown. But I don't know how much of it is original. I think Casey would know about that. Yolanda, how about the boy who danced with Lucy on the ship to your Kenneth Hamilton? That's a good question. I could look up what his name is, but I think I did once, and I don't think he really did a lot in acting. That was a screechy noise. Why is that? It's this thing. Quick question. Do you know what 3 words Desi or Naz Jr. to explain true happiness? I don't know. Let me know. There's like floaties around here. There's always like little feathers and stuff floating. What is that? Like a feather. Anyway. Verbal. Is there a blueprint of the Ricardo's home in Connecticut? A blueprint of the Ricardo's home in Connecticut. Love to build a house as beautiful as it can. That's a great question. Not that I know of. There may be something out there, but it's a great question. Yolanda, your grandson Eleazar, great name, says hi and is watching. Hey, Eleazar, how are you? How old are you, Eleazar? Thanks for watching with your grandma. That's great. Oh, wow. Scott Sandwich. I didn't know. So he's pretty religious, right? What's his name? Richard Keith. He played in a Christian band, I think, like the drums. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Anthony M, nice to see you. I'm not sure, Dominique. Great question. I don't know. Arthur, I loved one of the random ones where Lucy wants to pick a lemon off the actor. So it was a, you're right, it was a fruit. It was not a pomegranate, grapefruit. It was a grapefruit from Richard Widmark's house. I was blanking on his name there. Yes, that was the last episode, the tour of season 4 of I Love Lucy. Yep. You're buying tickets to the I Love Lucy Ricknineg bus tour. Awesome! My first customer. Favorite season? Question by Seth Williams. I definitely like season 4. Season 4 and 3 for me are like interchangeable. Like I think 3 can be almost as good as 4, or 4. You know, like I kind of switch back and forth. So 3 or 4. Like I love the 3 that it stays in the apartment, but I also love 4. I think 4 was really good. How they went out, the Hollywood stuff really worked for what they were doing. Yes. Which is better than I Love Lucy, Lucy-Desi Comedy Hour, or Lucy So? For me, I Love Lucy, for sure. Better than the Comedy Hour, better than anything else. I think that was the pinnacle of the work of the 4 actors. Those feathers remind me of the feather bloopers. Yeah, it's like, what are they doing? And I don't even have a lot of stuff with feathers around. It's just weird. It's just my life. You thought that Miss Patty, but was our thing. Do you think that Lucy loved Desi or Gary more? That's hard to say. I don't think it's my place to say who loved who more. You know, like I could speculate, but that's a good question. Maybe that's something that some of you want to answer. Hey, Alec, nice to see you. There are props at the Lucy-Desi Museum, but as for furniture, the sets at the museum are replicas. See, that's what I heard. It seems like everything was either destroyed or stolen. Like I want to say stolen because I've heard that. I've read stories of like stuff that was there and then it was gone. Like that literally the cast have never seen it of very different shows. And so it's like all that stuff that was in the Universal can't be all in Jamestown. And so it makes me think like, where is it? Yes. Okay. You've seen blueprints selling online for both apartments and the Connecticut house. Interesting. Your granddaughter, Genesis. Wow, we have a lot of grandkids. Hello, Genesis. Nice to see you. And Eleazar, both of you guys. Thank you for watching my channel. I got Lucy's shirt too. Look. Why are not episodes on Hulu? Why? Wow, I can't read today. Why are some episodes not on Hulu? Great job, Rick. You can read correctly. Okay. Why are they not on Hulu? Well, they license, they have to buy every episode they put on there. So they're not going to buy every single one because they want you to watch. So if there are 179 episodes, they might buy 100, 90, 80. Yeah, it's cheaper than buying all of them. That's for sure. Arthur, I like the ones in the smaller apartment and most of the 3 personally. How did you discover your love for I Love Lucy? Great question. So I started watching it after Saturday morning cartoons. It's just what followed after the cartoons because it's if you're familiar with Saturday morning cartoons, they start with cartoons, and then the later on the day, the more adult they get. And what I mean is so they'll start with cartoons that are for all kids, and then they'll get to shows that are very, very like live action, but then they're okay for kids, like I Love Lucy would work. And then they get later and later, and then you get to like martial arts type stuff. Like I used to watch that. And then by the end at night, it's stuff you can't watch. And so, yeah, but it was just I Love Lucy. I started watching it and I loved the show as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. Yes, Anthony, CBS owns the episodes. Brandon, I'm glad I caught you again. Well, I'm glad you're on the live stream. Awesome. Have you read any of the books on Lucy? I have. Yes, and I do like Carol Burnett. She is awesome. She is hilarious. And I see her as a very worthy successor of Lucille Ball, not a replacement, but a worthy successor of her talent and what she's done. And of course, you know that Lucille Ball gave Carol Burnett her start, kind of took her under her wing, became her mentor, and helped her to catapult her to her success. Not to say that Carol Burnett isn't talented, because let's just say Carol Burnett's success and Lucy's children's success were not the same. So there is talent there, right? Denise, you have a magazine that has pics of love letters between Desi and Lucy. Oh, Lucy and Gary. Awesome. Oh, yeah, there's tons of merchandising of I Love Lucy. You can go Google it. There's tons of stuff for sale. Lucy and Carol were great friends, and Lucy passed away on Carol's birthday. Yep, you're right. You heard that Lucy Arnaz was great friends with Desi's second wife. Yes, that's absolutely true. Lucy Arnaz was great friends. Yes, she was her stepmom. She said she was beautiful. She was very respectful to her. She loved her. Like I wouldn't say a second mom, but like a very caring figure to her, and helped her out a lot. Lucy Arnaz. Yeah, she said, did I say EDMs? Edith Hirsch, I believe her name was. Yes. Hello, Cheebs. How are you, Christine? Pajamas. Helen, how are you? Nice to see you. And she asks, have you seen the documentary Lucy and Desi, a home movie made by Lucy? I have seen it. Yes, it's beautiful, showcasing their love and relationship, leading to the creation of I Love Lucy. Highly recommend. It is good. It shows a lot of the original footage, right? Which is great. That's awesome. Yes, Seth, you are correct. There was a connection between Lucy and Carol. Absolutely. Still is, I would say. Oh, man. Edie Adams. Now, there's a lot of crying going on in this episode. You can't. I guess they wrote it into the story. Anthony, what do you think of Lucy's interview with Babwa? Babwa Wawa. There's a joke about that. Anyway, Barbara Walters, when Lucy says Ricky is not the greatest person. That's her words. That's her words. I can just say that. I mean, what can I comment on that? When I'm the type of person, if someone makes an assumption, if someone makes an opinion, that speaks for itself. A lot of people comment on my stuff, both good and bad. And when someone compliments me, I'm like, thanks, I appreciate it. And when someone's negative and it's like, this is so and so, I'm like, hey, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm glad it's on here. But yeah, I mean, you really can't comment on that. At least I won't. Scott, I like the little detail scenes in some of the Lucy episodes that unfortunately were edited out. Oh yeah, they're on the full. If you get the DVDs, they're on the full version. Again, I'm plugging these DVDs, and I don't get a cent for plugging these things. They are that good, and I enjoy them, and I watch them almost every day. Yes, Ash. He did marry again. He did marry. Bride is Lucy married again, and they married people that they were with for the rest of their lives. So they each died before their partners did. Lucy died before her second husband, Gary Morton, and Desi died before her partner, his partner, who was Edith Hirsch. And they all got along. They all got together. Gary Morton was very fond of Desi. He even said, "I'm married to Lucy, but her second husband is Desi." Think of that whatever you will, but he was almost like things got along better when he stepped back from Lucy and Desi's like working on the grandkids and stuff like that. Why do you think she became a recluse at the end of her life, especially since we all wanted to see her as much as possible? You talking about Lucy? Well, I know she was sick for a while. And remember, Lucy was very socially, she didn't like to be around tons of people. This was pretty much a little known fact. I made a video on that. She didn't like a lot of contact with people, like physical contact. And she was an actress. She knew that people wanted to see her. She understood that. But she was also, she had her quirks like everyone else. Same like Bill. Bill Frawley was a loner. And I think that carries a bad connotation, but I don't see it as bad connotation. He liked to be on his own. He enjoyed it, whether good or bad. That's just how he wanted to live his life. Favorite scene from what? Could you be more specific, Seth? From like this episode or just the entire series? Because that's a lot. That's a lot of Lucy to unpack. But if you narrow it down to something, I can definitely give you an answer. Wasn't Lucy in the Carol Burnett show once? I'm sure she was. I've heard people say they don't think they would. Do you think they could do Lucy today with new people? No. No, absolutely not. They could like do like a documentary type thing, but not like replicate this. So this is 1960, some guy. This is 1960, March 1st, April 1st, 1960. Hello, Katie. Nice to see you, as well as Yolanda. Helen, you believe Lucy and Desi's friendship strengthened after the divorce. They can enjoy their history minus the drama. When Lucy died, Gary said lovingly, she's with Desi now. See, that's the thing. There was just, and I don't want to say weird, but it's very unusual. It's something that I've never really heard. There was like love there. They couldn't get along, but the love lasted. They still got together. They still laughed together. They still reunited. Like it wasn't like a hostile like post-divorce, not at all. It was even like the second husband and wife of the respective couples knew that they were the true love. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just weird. Well, thank you, Alec. I'm glad you liked that episode. The William Frawley vlogs are so good. Well, thank you. Desi outlived Edie. Did he? You could be correct. I have to look that up, but I understood that he passed away before her. I have to look that up. I could have my fingers crossed, as Desi says. You find it ironic that a lot of comedians were very sad people in real life. That's true. Robin Williams and Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, who I absolutely loved, and he's passed away. It's just interesting how talents are used to maybe help other people or to express something. And, everyone has their demons. Everyone has their difficulties and their struggles. Back to the Future. Anthony, I've never really seen Will and Grace. Favorite scene in season 4? The whole scene with John Wayne coming in and then I think that's hilarious. It's like nonstop. It's like one after another. I think that is amazing. Very well done. No, you meant with Lucy, Vivian, that show, if they were the actors. So if we can somehow transport and resurrect the 4 original cast, and if they did the show today, if people like it and they're the same age, is that what you're saying? If the cast are still alive and they would make a big revival of the show and they were doing like, so you're talking about like Roseanne and those shows that they're doing those over? I don't think so. I think Lucy and the show is a product of its time. Now, I think people would watch it, but would it be as good or better than I Love Lucy? No, I don't think so at all. Oh, wow, Casey. Thank you for that. So Edith died a year before Desi from cancer too. Okay, I stand corrected. I don't know why I thought that was reversed. I thought that she died. I know that they died kind of fairly like close together, but I thought it was reversed. I thought he died and then she died after, like as a result. Okay, good to know. Mork and Minnie. I've never seen an episode. I do like Robin Williams though. Absolutely. Yes. Desi Arnaz died in 85, right? I believe. Or 86. I was watching a little documentary on it yesterday, or the actual obituary they had on the news. 86. There we go. Bradness. Thank you. Do you think I Love Lucy could have gone on with the same amount of success for another 5 years? I don't. I don't, because I could already see them losing steam at the end. This episode, the Japanese episode, I think everything runs its course, to be honest with you. And I think the Lucy-Desi Comedy Hour was good, but it was on the downtrend to what was going on as a result of the marital and infidelity, the marital issues and so forth. But the issue that I see, even the writers got writer's block. Madeline P. Davis and Bob Carroll Jr. said they were having issues coming up with stories, and they left, and they had to bring other writers, and then they had to kind of come back. So there is such thing as not having or running out of ideas, believe me. Yeah. Let's see. Helen, my mom and dad watched the John Wayne guest starring episode recently. It laughed so hard. Isn't that great? It's a great episode. Is it the first time they've seen it? Helen, let me know. That is awesome. Ash, when things get remade, they're never as good as the originals. Yep. I'll just say that. Yep, I agree. You think, Mike, the Hollywood show where she sets her nose on fire was the funniest? Yeah, people like that one. LA at Last with Bill Holden. Anthony, you're absolutely correct. Desilu not only produced the original Star Trek, Lucille Ball herself, by herself, okayed Star Trek while everyone else was like, why are you doing this? This is a waste of time, a waste of money. No one wants to see people in space, like all that. Like, they didn't think it would work. Now we're like, that's ridiculous. Of course it's going to work. No, it was like a weird thing back then. It didn't make sense. But for her, she saw something in it special. And so without Lucille Ball, we would have not had Star Trek. We would have not even had Star Wars. And I will argue that to death, because Star Wars was inspired by Star Trek. I am sorry, Star Wars people, but that is the truth. It is just what it is. Do you remember the first I Love Lucy episode you watched? I don't. I could guess what it is, but I don't really remember. Raven Poe, you had watercress sandwich. Was it good? I love buttered grass. Was it good, or was it a struggle? Helen, for your dad, yes. It was so hilarious watching them. Isn't it great to like show someone the show and then have them enjoy it and see their reactions? It's amazing. Hatchet in my trunk. When shows stick around too long, it hurts the syndication because the weak episodes. I agree with that. Like Seinfeld lasted 9 seasons, and I'm kind of glad it stopped. I would have, yeah, out of curiosity, I wanted to see what another season would have done, but I think it would have been super weak because I think they may have even gone, they even said it, like a season overboard. Lucy-Desi Comedy Hour may be the same thing. I do appreciate the episodes, so, and they still worked. Okay, let's see. The Chocolate Factory. Lucy's getting caught in the Bastille. The scene where John Wayne walks into the room and Lucy and Ethel are trying to cover up the fact that their hair curl. Yes. No. My favorite part is when John Wayne sits down on the curler and he goes, yeah. I mean, he was not a comedian. This guy is the machoest man ever, and he let himself get down to that level. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Not that comedy's like a low place, but like back then it was seen like you're an action star. You know, you're a gentleman. You dress nice and everything. And to sit on a curler on a feminine object like that, like in the 50s, just think of that. The impact of that is just hilarious to me. Yep, and then we're getting into everyone's favorite episode. It's definitely based on opinion, so definitely Jade. It's a good episode. George Lucas said Star Wars was inspired by Buck Rogers' Flash Gordon series. Yes, Jared, but you have to understand that a lot of the elements that are in Star Wars came about because of Star Trek, especially even the decades before. I mean, you could even say, why didn't they do that before? There's a lot of similarities in the show, but they are very different. I've watched both, and I'm a fan of both. So I'm more of a Trek fan, but yeah, I enjoy Star Wars as well, the classic stuff, of course. Okay, let's see here. What do you think about the Golden Girls? I used to watch the Golden Girls, not much anymore. Yep, Casey, shows have to end at some point. What brand of chocolate was used in Lucy and the Chocolate Factory? Well, remember that the melted chocolate was melted, and so I don't even know if they had a specific type. You guys may know what it is. I don't off the top of my head. Are the Desilu Clover Studios still in existence, called by another name? Yes, great question, Scott. I need to do an episode on that. They're called the Clover Studios, I believe. Yep. Where they film like Hogan's Heroes exterior sets, so Wizard of Oz, things like that. So many of the I Love Lucy guest stars were such good sports to sit on curlers, to have ink squirted on them. Yep. Great sports, good on them, fun for us. I agree. I mean, Tallulah Bankhead to be like spray painted with a paint type material or something that looked like paint. Again, a woman to do this. Again, she was above that, quote unquote. But I think Desi and Lucy were able to push these actors to be like, do you want to get a laugh? Like, you're getting paid, but it's not just that. Like, do you really want to get a laugh like this? It's worth it. Now, I heard Lucy did go to train at See's Candy. She did do that at the one here on La Cienega. And yes. No, I think you're right, Christine. I would say that yes, the Lucy Show was an attempt to reboot the fame of I Love Lucy. So remember, Desi was the straight man to Lucy's funny comedy. In comedy, there's always the straight man. That's what they call him, and that would be like Laurel and Hardy. Same thing. That would be like the Stooges. There's always the straight man. Larry was the straight man kind of thing, and so forth to bounce off the comedy. And so Vivian took the place of Desi, and I think that's where the weakness was because they were, in my opinion, they were a team who came up with the chaos. And in some of the episodes, it was like Vivian had to play the straight man, to be able to bounce off of Lucy. And so there was something missing there. There was no longer Desi. There was no longer someone with Lucy to conspire to, because then if she conspired with them, well, who was supposed to get mad? If that makes sense. There was just something off. The equation was off, in my opinion. That's why I don't think it's that strong of a show. I think there's like a formula to it. I think there really is a formula to comedy. You loved Lucy, and Ethel trying to change the tire on her way back from Florida. That was good. Ethel was great. See, Ethel was amazing. And she was good when she did the comedy aspect of it, I think. She wasn't, she was okay as a straight one, but I don't think as great as Desi. Jabe, well, everyone has different tastes, so not everyone likes I Love Lucy. I understand that. I totally respect that. I don't think everyone needs to like everything. It's a good point. Joe Keaton, I can't say it better myself. Star Trek built a fan base that made Star Wars a hit. And what was missing, the elements in Star Trek that maybe some people didn't like, but they liked the space thing, I think Star Wars filled the void for that. I think you're absolutely right. It's like, because they are different. Star Trek is more of a science-y type show, like future science fiction, quote unquote. But then Star Wars is more like there's a mythos there. There's like a religion or a faith tradition or a belief system, if that makes sense. Where in Star Trek, there's nothing of that. I mean, yes, you have races that have their belief system, but like the Federation isn't like that. And so, yeah, for those people who maybe aren't into transporters or that type of sciencey stuff, they love the Star Wars. Like, there's like your hand can move stuff and things like that. Yeah. You read an article that they offered Seinfeld 10 million an episode, and they offered the other 3 what Seinfeld was making, but Seinfeld wanted no part of it. Yep, he wanted his reputation. He's Jerry Seinfeld is very big into like reputation, and like he sees himself as like higher than just like the money. Like he wanted to keep his name going and so forth. So that can be judged as you will. But yeah. I have seen an episode to MASH. I never really got into it. So who likes Gail Gordon acting opposed Lucy? Any? Yolanda definitely does. She included that in here. Alec, the scene from John Wayne from season 4 when he met is really good. I love how Star Trek Lucy. Yeah, that was to me the starstruckness, both talking at him and he's like, yes, anything for you girls. But he's like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Like that to me is just great. Andy Griffith's show, Bradness. It only took Andy 1 or 2 episodes to realize he shouldn't be the comedy foil. Don Knotts proof he was a great comedy actor. Andy stepped aside and had no problem being a straight man. See, I'm glad you brought that up, Bradness, because I absolutely agree. Don Knotts was the Lucy character, if we can even say that. And Andy Griffith was like the straight man to Don Knotts' funniness. And you need that. You need that play. You need that rubber band action, that ping pong action, for sure. Seth Williams, the one that I heard is the best Lucy movie is the, what do you call it? The Long Long Trailer. And I think that was decent. Hello, Michael Ian. How are you? No problem. I definitely followed you on Instagram. You guys can follow me on Instagram. Links are in the description. Twitter, also Facebook. That's where I post any news. If I'm not going to post today or if I have something special going on, you should go and check out my Facebook. Links are down there. Down there. Kenneth, someone just asked that recently. Would a recreation reboot of I Love Lucy with, let me just see, with new actors? Oh no, I don't think it would be successful at all with new actors. I think the whole point of those shows that are coming back is that they're original actors, like Roseanne, Will and Grace, Murphy Brown. They're all the original. So with new actors, no way. I don't think that. I think people would come up in arms, especially Lucy fans. They would be upset, and most other people wouldn't care. So yeah, I don't think it would do well, my opinion. Let me see here. All right, so you went to the Hollywood Studios. The episode ended, by the way, guys and gals. So we're going to be finishing up here. You went to the Hollywood Studios in Disney World and saw Carol Burnett handprints. Awesome. That is so cool. You like Gail Gordon? I've never been to Florida, so I haven't seen them. Oh yeah, I'm definitely glad, Raven, that he wasn't cast as Lucy's husband. That wouldn't have worked for me. I don't think he's a strong enough, whatever you want to call it, actor, individual to bounce off of Lucy. If that makes sense. Do you think I Love Lucy would have had the same amount of success if it was made? Nope. 70s or 80s? No, I don't. I think I Love Lucy was perfection in every way, if that makes sense. And what I mean, perfect casting, perfect cast, perfect time, perfect writing. Everything came together. It's like a good theater play. You could say, oh, it was good. The lights and the scenery was great, but the actors are weak. Or the actors were really good, but the scenery was weak. You know, you can say all this, but this was just like everything, synergy, all coming together. How about Lucy and Stone Pillow? I haven't seen it. I've heard of it for sure. Who's my favorite recurring actor or actress on I Love Lucy? Huh. It's a great question. Frank Nelson. Well, I think Frank Nelson is like the golden child there. I would say Charles Lane. Charles Lane was fairly good. He was enjoyable every time I saw him. Very common character, definitely. Bruno, did Lucille Ball ever become friends with Betty Davis, being that they went to the same acting school? I think they kept in touch. I don't know how good of friends. I don't think they became great friends or anything. Okay, do you think I Love Lucy was more popular than Elvis and the Beatles? I mean, I think we're talking about different mediums. I think Elvis was just a phenomenon on his own for rock. The Beatles are more of a rock band as opposed to just an individual doing rock. And I Love Lucy was a comedic show. So I think they're all different. I don't know if I would compare them necessarily because you're talking about Elvis comparing to 4 actors doing comedy. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of an unfair pairing, but I think it's a good question. All right, everyone, I am going to take off because episode is done. And so let me see if I can get a couple of your last questions. I like that John Wayne was okay. It was funny, but there are too many plot holes in it for me to love. Okay, yeah, there are definitely plot holes. There are plot holes with many of the episodes. In fact, most of them aren't realistic at all, except for like season 1. There are a few crazy ones, but a lot of ones that are very, it depended. There was just so, like the freezer episode where she was frozen and all of a sudden Totally unrealistic fantasy to its 100th degree. Yeah, Lucy's a serious actress. It's weird, right? Seth, I try to do a weekly stream, but I don't have a set schedule. So hopefully that answers your question. You should subscribe and hit the bell button. That lets you know when I do go live and when I upload a video. All right. Super important. I need to remind you because I need to remind myself as well. I hope you take that to heart. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to be hopeful.